Boss time and me without RP. FP. What is this, Apex? I don't remember what I put on there, but... Well, holy fuck, there's a lot of them. I'm very dead. And they've got Scarlet Rot? Holy shit, man. Well, okay. Sick. Very good. What's going on, guys? HotSauceZee here. So I'm working my way through Caelid currently in Elden Ring, and I found myself in the Sellia Hideaway. Well, these three guys that you see on the screen here, these are these are your bosses for this area. They're nestled there in the back once you work your way through, and man, let me tell you, these guys were a chore for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna try and make myself sound like a badass at the game, but these guys gave me a lot of problems. I counted in total in getting the clips ready for this video, and just kind of as an experiment, it took me 52 attempts to take these guys out. Had to do a lot of learning, and had to do a lot of, you know, figuring out kind of the optimal strategy for my current build on how to take them out. I am actually a Dex Samurai build, and so I'm out here using the katanas, which, you know, they use slash and pierce. That's primarily the damage type they do. And it turns out that when you're fighting these guys, what you want to do is you want to use a weapon that's got strike damage, and that will actually help break their sort of, I guess their shell is what I kind of call it. It'll break their shell, which will allow you to then do significantly more damage once their shell is broken initially. And you can usually know their shell breaks because they'll stagger, they'll go to their knees, and then that's when you can start dealing out a lot of damage. The problem, though, is that there's just so many of them, right? And so you get in there, and the pole guy, for whatever reason, and I know probably a lot of other people that are fighting this boss know this, but the pole guy is just like, he's just magnetized to you, and he just comes after you, and if you get caught by the first spear thrust, most of the time it's pretty tricky to get out of the other 3 or 4 until that final jump is when you can finally roll and get away. So you take significant damage just getting locked into that combo of his. So I usually try to avoid him at the start of this fight and then work my way around and go to that mage first, because if you try and focus the pole guy, just because he's the most annoying, then the sorcerer will sit in the back and just range you with Scarlet Rot, and then you can't focus on the pole guy because you're taking, you know, take occasional hits from him, and then the Scarlet Rot is ticking your health down. So the way I ended up beating this was I ended up going around fighting the sorcerer, and then going after the pole guy, and then finally going after the ring guy. That's kind of the order of operations that worked the best for me. And then, of course, once I figured out to use a strike weapon, I started having a lot more success. It breaks through that shell of theirs a lot faster. It does more damage right off the rip. If you're using like a slash or a pierce, it's tough. These guys are hard enemies. They're difficult and hard in the difficult sense, but they're also hard in like the, you know, their skin is hard. So, but yeah, there's you also probably will want to use a summons. I know some people are against them. For players that do want to use the summons, don't have any kind of qualms against using a summons. I found that the Putrid corpse summons works really well with these guys. You can spawn out like 5 of them, you know, and if they're leveled up a little bit, they're pretty tanky. You know, they're slow moving. They're not going to do any damage, but they're really good distractors, and they'll sit there and they'll let the other melee crystallines, you know, they'll keep them busy while you can work on that sorcerer. Get rid of their ranged attack, and then you can go in and figure out how you want to deal with the 2 melee guys, kind of like in the order of operations that I was talking about. So I really liked the Putrid Corpse summons for this boss. Give those a shot. Definitely have you a leveled strike weapon. I actually had to back out, go back to the round table hold, and level up the Morning Star. That's the weapon I used to beat them. I backed out, leveled that up a little bit with some smithing stones, and then came back in and gave them what for. Once I had those leveled weapons and the summons that seemed to work a lot better, once I got all that figured out, like the boss fight got a lot easier. So anyways, I'm going to get out of the way, I guess. I'm going to roll the final run here. of where I beat them, and you can kind of see everything that I was talking about put together here. But yeah, what a chore. Here we go. Screw those things, man. Holy shit. And all you get out of it is a stupid spell. But, like, it's a pride thing. I had to come in here and I had to kick their ass. I knew it was a spell that I'm never going to use, but they had to go. They had to go. And it only took, what? I don't know. 3 hours? I don't know, man. Damn, that's a tough fight. Like, ridiculously tough. There's just so many of them. Made even more challenging by the fact that my weapons that I typically use do not help me at all. You know? Because I don't hurt their armor. You have to have strike damage against those things. So there you guys have it. That's how you beat the 3 Crystalian boss in the Sellia Hideaway over there in Caelid. This took me a lot of trial and error, but just to sum up everything again from the video, get you a strike weapon. These guys are just made so much easier if you have a good strike weapon with you. Make sure it's a little bit leveled. I didn't really have one that was leveled. I had to back out, level up the Morning Star, and then I was able to actually deal some damage on these guys. But do that. Then when you first get in the room, drop in a summons if you're a summons player. If you're not, don't worry about it. My personal favorite for this fight was the Putrid Corpses. I found them to be very effective. It kept the other guys busy long enough for me to get that sorcerer down. And that brings me to my next point. Make sure you focus on the sorcerer first. You don't want to be getting ranged by Scarlet Rot and magic attacks the entire time you're trying to fight the other guys. So get that guy out of the way first, then go for the spear, then go for the ring blades. And you should have these guys beat. So yeah, that's about all I got for you today. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, please be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing. I am a Battlefield player primarily, or was anyway, but I am really enjoying Elden Ring. So we might make some more videos kind of like this here on the channel. So anyways, guys, until next time, I've been HotSauceZee. See you then.